I'm about to say some things that might upset people. Just know that the things I'm going to say are not because I hate you. The things I'm going to say are the things I'm going to say is because I love you. And I want you to know the truth. If I hated you, I wouldn't tell you the truth. I would just give you really comforting lies and tell you nothing you're doing is wrong and you should just keep doing it and just you do you. And nothing you do is bad and you're inherently good and you never make bad choices. But God is real and He has created a law for humanity and a purpose for us. And we have to follow that. And if we don't, we end up turning to sin, which ruins our lives. We end up doing bad things and harming ourselves and others. So I just wanted to make that disclaimer before we talk about this next verse. So open up your Bibles to Genesis chapter 1, verse 26. Then God said, "Let us make man in our image after our likeness." Notice that he uses our, us and our. Let us make man in our image after our likeness. I talked about it in another video, but God is a triune God. He's three persons in one being, and this is one of the verses that is proof of that. Just that's just a quick Bible bonus. Bible bonus, Bible bonus, Bible bonus, baby. And let them have dominion over the fish and the sea, and over the birds of the heavens, and over the livestock, and over all of the earth, and over every creeping thing that creeps on the earth. Which means God has given humanity dominion over all of creation. That means we rule over all the animals, we rule over all of the land, we rule all over the earth, the however we see fit. Pretty cool, huh? It's cool at first, but then if you keep reading the Bible and you look at the history of the world, we end up taking advantage of that and ruining everything. But that's besides the point. Let's keep reading. And then it says, "So God created man in his own image. In the image of God he created him. Male and female he created them." If you look at the Bible, look at mine, that's where it says that. And you notice that it's different from the rest, like it's just framed differently than the rest of the text. Almost kind of reading like a law. So this is actually intentional because Bible bonus, the the book of Genesis is written by Moses. Moses, the Red Sea guy, split the sea, freed the people from Egypt. That guy, same guy. That's the guy who wrote this book. The thing you got to know about Moses is that he was a keeper of the law. He was really into the law, transcribing God's laws for humanity. And right here is, and I could be wrong. Tell me, I could be interpreting this wrong. Please help me out. But it's kind. I feel like it's kind of written this way, kind of like, and this is what God said, and this is the law, and this is the fact. Memorize this and let it be in your brain so you can remember. It's been really acceptable in our culture to reject pronouns and not go by he or she. There's people now that go by they or them, other pronouns. Some people identify as non-binary. They don't associate with a gender or sex. They don't describe themselves as male or female. And there's even other people who reject their humanity altogether and they don't even want to associate with being human, like they would rather be something else. And I'm here to say that being a man or being a woman is not a bad thing. When God created man and woman, he gave them specific roles. And if you were born a man, um, you can't be a woman because God did not create you to be a woman. He created you to be a man. And if you are a woman, God created you to be a woman and you can't be a man. This is not me trying to bully you or tell you that you're wrong or you're stupid or you're evil. It's just me. This is just what God said. And live my life. I try to live my life by the things that God says, and I want to follow Him because I love Him, because He's my Father, and And when you love your father, you want to do what he says. If you're a man, God's design for you is to be married and have children, and that's a great thing. We need more good dads. We need it doesn't only benefit you, but it also benefits the world. The world becomes a better place when we have good fathers. If God made you a woman, that means he wants you to be a wife and a mother someday, which is also a really good thing. We need good moms too. We need good moms that take care of their children and support their children, take care of their children, and who also support their husbands and love their husbands. Um, and we need those husbands to work hard and take care of their families by providing for them. This is just the plan that God made for us, you know. If you don't believe me, let's fast forward. We're going to go to Matthew chapter 9, verse 4. This is Jesus talking to a group of people called the Pharisees. We won't get into who those guys are yet, but basically he's explaining the law to them, which back then they called the law of Moses, but really what the law of Moses actually is the law of God. All Moses did was transcribe God's law when God told it to him. So Jesus tells them, he answered, have you not read that who created them from the beginning made them male and female, and said, therefore a man shall leave his father and his mother and hold fast to his wife, and the two shall become one flesh. So they are no longer two, but one flesh. What therefore God has joined together, let no man separate. Jesus Christ is God. So this is God in human form telling us that there's only male and female, that's it. And the design for the male and the female is to be together, to leave their mother and father, to start their own family, to become one flesh. Now, what it says to become one flesh. That means when you marry someone, you're basically one person. Like this is marriage is a very sacred ritual, and it's a union between a man and a woman to make them husband and wife, to make them one flesh, to make them a family, and to have them stay together until they die. He says, "Let no man separate." That means you're in it until one of you dies. Like, and then later, it's interesting because if you read more about this chapter, then they're like, "Well, then how come you let people get divorced and stuff?" And then Jesus pretty much says, like, Moses, the guy who wrote the law, he allowed people to get divorced because your hearts were so hardened, and you got married for selfish reasons, and then you didn't want to be married to this person for some reason, and you wanted to divorce them. So Moses allowed it, but God did not intend this from the beginning. Divorce is a man-made thing, and there are circumstances where you should get divorced, from abuse or sexual immorality or adultery. But if we're going to be honest, most of the time people are getting divorced are not for legitimate reasons. Most times people are getting divorced is just because, well, I don't like this person anymore, or I don't love them anymore, or blah blah blah. But God basically just says, too bad. You made a promise to this person, and you need to fulfill it. And then some of you will say, well, how could God say that? What makes him so righteous? Well, God doesn't break his promises, and we're going to read that as we continue in the Bible. But God always keeps his promises. Even if we're evil, even if we hurt him, even if we mock him and do so many evil things in his sight, if he promised us something, he's going to fulfill that promise. And I can tell you from my life, he has done that for me more often than I can count. I've been horrible to him, and he's been nothing but good to me. If I have interpreted this wrong, may I repent, and I'll take back every word I said, but I don't think I'm wrong. If you think I'm wrong, talk to me. Send me a message, leave me a comment. We'll figure it out together. But just know, if you're a man, that's a good thing. God wanted you to be a man. And if you're a woman, that's also a good thing. God wanted you to be a woman. And he wants to love you, and Jesus wants to save you. So all you got to do is ask Jesus to save you, because in the Bible it says, whoever calls upon the name of the Lord will be saved. And that's all you got to do. I'm not going to make you do it. That's a decision you got to come to on your own. But I love you. I don't hate you. I want you to know God. There's a better life for you. If you don't agree with this, there's a better life for you, that I want you to have. That's more fulfilling. It's not. It's not an easier life. It's not a life without suffering. But when I was an atheist and I didn't believe in God and I didn't want anything to do with church or the Bible, I would suffer, but I would have no one to join me in my suffering. I had no one to help me in my suffering. But now that I've accepted Christ, and now that I've accepted Him to be a part of my life, now I have somebody to help me in my suffering, to be there with me.